Hi everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp and welcome to the November edition of Making the Cut. Making the Cut is my monthly series here on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel where we talk about my favorite thing, die cutting. Today I am sharing one of my favorite projects to create during the holiday season or anytime, and that is tag making. And what makes these tags even more special? Well, it is of course these amazing triangle critters, and you can make dimensional stand-up triangle designs that will work beyond the gift giving. I always like to kind of come up with a fun tag type of design and then find a way to make it a ornament or decor piece that the recipient can then use after they've opened their present to, kind of make it a gift within a gift. We're going to start with the triangle bear and add a little bit of pink cheek to our bear die cut piece with pastel pink Simon Says Stamp ink. Then we're going to build our little bear triangle shape. I am layering all of the pieces together here on one of the triangle flaps. In order to make this a stand-up triangle, you're also going to need the triangle tab. I've die cut 3 each for each of my tags. That's going to make it this triangular stand-up. So instead of even having to be an ornament, I did design them to be one that hangs on the tree, but I love that it's not flat. I love that it's dimensional, but it also could sit on your mantle, in a display, on a shelf, etc. Then for our bear's hat, I have die cut this from some Concord and 9th Grasshopper cardstock. We're using a little bit of the Simon Says Stamp Pine Positively saturated ink to add shading. Then these additional leaves are from that Spellbinders cocktail set that I showed a minute ago. Literally any kind of die set that has some holly leaves and berries is going to be perfect for this. I just wanted a little extra greenery to tuck into each of the caps on these images. After I've added that extra bit of inking, it's time to assemble our first flap. There's a scored edge along one side of each of these. I like to fold it and then use my bone folder to get a really nice crease. Let's go ahead and crease the other two while we're at it. This is where the adhesive is going to go on that short triangle side, that tabbed side. So I'm going to make sure that it creases really nice. That's going to help the fold hold its shape. Now, when I'm creating something that I don't want to accidentally come apart, I generally like to use liquid adhesive. I'm going to glue 2 of the sides together, and on the third, this is where we're going to adhere the bear. I'm going to start up at the top with the hat so that I can make sure and get that right to the tippy top. And then we're going to place the bear face down below. I love how the ears hang off the sides. And of course, I did inlay the eyes and nose on my polar bear's face. For the brim of the hat, I decided we were going to pop it up with a little bit of foam adhesive. So I'm using the thin foam adhesive strips from Simon Says Stamp. And then we're simply going to place the little brim of his hat along the bottom edge. I like this little bit of dimension, and it's also going to provide a fantastic spot to tuck some of our greenery in. Grabbing some extra liquid glue, I'm going to position my little leaves, and also I have die cut a little pine branch from some of the champagne colored vellum from Simon Says Stamp. The vellum is going to add some nice texture as well as just that nice additional little bit of layering. You can literally use any kind of greenery that you have that fits the size and scale of these ornaments. Then we got some little holly berry leaves. Holly berries. The base of my berries is Schoolhouse red cardstock, and then I'm taking a red glitter cardstock and layering this on top for that touch of sparkle and shine that we all love for the holiday season. Once we have our berries in place, we are going to take that little red pom-pom that you see at the top of my screen, and we are going to glue that to the tippy top of the hat. I decided each of our little stocking or Santa hats, if you will, needed to have a pom-pom. Not only is it a fun decorative touch for something that is not flat, I generally don't love using pom-poms for cards that I put through the mail just because they add so much bulk. But I love them for any kind of home decor, tag item, any other kind of crafting that I might do. Then I'm going to glue the other pieces together. Now, if you have multiple pairs of reverse tweezers, this is when they come in so handy. I'm actually going to clamp the pom-pom to the top of my hat, and while that glue is drying and before we work on Santa and the penguin, we're going to stamp some tags. As I mentioned, I am making this set a set that can be used as gift tags. And I love having a little decorative tag. Now, the great thing about this, yes, we're going to stamp it and make it fun, but you can also easily snip this off, toss this, and keep your cute little critter triangle ornament or decoration without that tag on it. I'm stamping December 25th along the bottom edge of my tag, and the stamps are all from the Festive Merriment stamp set. I stamped that with brick ink, and then I'm going to use pine ink to stamp the rest of my greeting. The tag itself is from the new rounded tags set. This is a nesting tag set that is phenomenal. I absolutely love this. It comes in all kinds of sizes, and I'm using the second smallest for this. I have die cut 6 tags total, 2 for each of the triangle ornaments. This means that on the front of each of my tags, it's going to say, do not open until December 25th. And then in this same stamp set, there are 2 different options for to and from. I'm going to choose one of those that I feel like matches. Either one actually would match the theme, I think, since I used 2 different fonts on the front. But I'm going to choose one of those, and then we're going to stamp the to from on the other tag and then glue these back to back. Not only does this give us more stability, but when you're die cutting your images, you know, you sometimes get those die lines and things in the back of your die cuts. That disguises it. I really do like how thick this makes the tag, though. It stands up well underneath the tree. If you have any pets that might like to get into things or little ones, etc., this just gives it a little bit more stability. So after I have positioned my to from, I'm going to go ahead and stamp those on each. Look how cute that is. Isn't the font just adorable? I love this Festive Merriment stamp set. I did use my Misty, and I'm glad I did, because I did notice that I had to restamp a couple things where I didn't either ink it up very well or press it very well. And a lot of times I do like to stamp twice just to make sure the coverage is perfect. Once we have that done, it's time to glue these together. Putting some liquid glue all over the back and then simply placing them back to back and clamping them with my tweezers while that glue dries. You could also put something heavy on top, like an acrylic block or a book. After we have our tags together, you can use the whole reinforcer set if you wanted to. I decided to keep it easy. These are nice and strong as is, and they're not a giant tag, so I decided to leave that step off of these particular designs. We're going to finish gluing our polar bear design together. Now, before I glue that final side, I want this to be able to hang. I'm going to take some silver cord from Simon Says Stamp, fold it in half, knot the ends, and I am going to secure the ends inside of my triangle ornament. I do want to secure it with liquid glue, or if you have a hot glue gun available, that would be great too. But before I glue this down, I'm just going to use a little bit of tape. It's hidden inside the ornament, and that's going to help hold my twine or my cording here where I want it before I add that glue. And I realized I forgot to thread on my little tag, so I quickly did that and then retied it, and then we'll stick it underneath that yellow tape. Probably a clear tape would have worked better here, but I had this Spellbinders yellow tape, so that's what I used. It just kind of served as an extra hand to hold that. Then I'm going to glue the knot really well inside, glue that final side of my triangle, and hold this in place. Now, if you need help holding this while that glue is drying, I put a pair of tweezers down at one end, and then I also clamped another pair up near the top so that it holds its shape. Then I'm simply going to set this over to the side, and we're going to start working on Santa. Santa is going to be put together the same way with just a few different colors. This time, instead of using white for my triangle tabs, I have used Schoolhouse Red from Simon Says Stamp. Schoolhouse Red is my absolute favorite red for the holidays and beyond, let's face it, and I think this is going to look adorable. For the face on Santa here, I did use Chiffon cardstock from Spellbinders. We're also going to give Santa some pink cheeks. He has to have rosy cheeks, of course. I'm going to look and see where those cheeks need to fall compared to his little beard layering piece. And then I'm using a small blending brush and that pastel pink ink. Oh my goodness, that's going to be cute. Then I'm going to take a little bit of fog ink and I am going to go around the edges of the beard as I felt like it needed just a little bit of shading to give it more of a hair-like look, I suppose. Just a little bit along the edges. You'll notice I'm mostly inking off on my glass mat and then bringing that ink onto the mustache and beard layering pieces. Then we are going to glue these to the face, and these go together so easily again. So there's our little beard. Let's put our mustache in place. And then we are going to layer the face over a solid black die cut piece before adhering to our triangle. I'm going to make sure everything is lined up appropriately. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I inlay his eyes. I lied. So what we're going to do is I'm going to die cut his face and then inlay the eyes. Either way will work. But I think this looks a little bit nicer. Now for his hat, I'm going to take some Brick Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink, and I'm going to ink up a little bit along the edges just for that wonderful shading. I've used the same greenery that I used for the polar bear, and that's going to be applied to the brim of the hat as well. Everything about this is going to be assembled exactly the same, from the hollyberry and leaves, the vellum pine branch, to a pom-pom at the top of his hat. This time, of course, I am using a white pom-pom. I'm also popping up the brim of his hat with some foam adhesive because I really liked that look and I like that little bit of extra dimension. The design of these are so unique and fun. Now, you don't have to use these with the triangle tab if you don't want to. You can always use them flat and place them right on your card fronts for unique, fun designs. Once these are together, I am going to take some glossy accents and I'm going to use this for the nose on my polar bear. Then I'm going to position him so that he's not tilted, and I'm going to allow that to completely dry. Our final ornament today is, of course, our adorable penguin. Our penguin features a cute little red hat with a light green brim, greenery, and of course a white pom-pom. He goes together just like the other two, but this time I did use black cardstock as the base for my ornaments. So 3 black triangle tab panels, the black outline of the penguin. He has little pink cheeks, of course. All of the critters have to have pink cheeks. And then we'll add all of the rest of the pieces and put him together exactly the same, down to the silver cording, etc. What I love about this project is you can't make just one. These would be adorable as place card holders, yearly ornaments for friends and family, or used on your cards, or even if you have a craft room tree, you could make these for yourself or your crafting besties and give these out with their gifts for the holiday season. I love these. I love a unique tag, and I cannot wait to see what everybody else does with this amazing set of products from Simon Says Stamp. Here's a final look at all 3 tag ornaments. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these wonderful tag ornaments featuring Simon Says Stamp, stamps, dies, and other amazing products. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube for your convenience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.